What's up, everybody? It is Kellen here from Start Your Systems, and welcome to another edition of Track Walk in MX Simulator. Today, playing the Dream track created by Gabriel Pilegi, and I've had this track recommended to me a few times in the past 3 months or so, and as I love to take subscriber suggestions whenever I can, I decided to give it a go. So I've never actually played this track before, just gonna outright say that now. So just like the track walk that I did not too long ago on an enduro track, this track walk is going to be literally me playing the track for the first time. So you guys will hear my thoughts on it as I go through. And yeah, let's have some fun today, huh? Let's see what this track is all about. I have done a Gabriel Pilegi track recently, so kudos to him to making a couple tracks that'll end up being track walk videos. And so far, I'm digging this track. It's got like kind of a sticky sand feel to it. The traction's pretty grippy, but that works out pretty well because a lot of these jumps kind of flow with that grippy traction. Just trying to get kind of used to how big these jumps are. I've been lucky so far that I haven't like OJ'd anything crazily or anything too gnarly like that. This one's a little bit of an OJ, but all good. We got a long uphill here. This is in the back of the track, it would seem. He did not make a map, so the make a map thing is still there. And a little anthill here, and then you come back down, and this is a step down. Yep. Done a pretty good job so far of guessing exactly where I'm going. I swear I haven't played this track yet, but it certainly looks like I have, doesn't it? As we head back up the hill, this looks like a little step up at the top, all the way into 5th gear. Alrighty then, coming back down the hill. For any of those of you that have just now started watching me play this game, oh, finally the first fall-off crash. I knew I didn't have enough speed from that one as soon as I took off. Big step down. But for any of you guys that are new to watching me on this channel, I run -2, +2 gearing in MX Simulator, and that is the smallest or shortest gearing that you can run. It is really good for acceleration. I started using it when I got on a 450 just because the 450 has so much power that you don't really need all of it. And very rarely in an outdoor track do I end up even in 5th gear, let alone like tapped out in 5th gear. More often than not, the last round of Supercross at Las Vegas on a 450, I will end up in 5th gear tapped out going into the stadium, and that's like the only time all year I can think of that I run out of gearing, except maybe the start at Glen Helen. But I just, you know, in comparison to talking about this track for just a minute, obviously I ran out of gearing really fast going up some of these uphills because the bike just kind of started bogging down as it got closer to the top. That's just my gearing. You could obviously run a completely different gearing to me and probably go faster on this track or faster on these hills. So just kind of a quick explanation of why that was happening. Obviously, not too often you see guys just in 5th gear bogging or 5th gear wide open and not really going any faster. But that's how I do it in this game. All right, so 1 lap in the books. Pretty awesome track, I must say. It's got a pretty good flow to it. I like the way the sections are laid out. I like that there is elevation change and it's not just this flat ground tabletop stuff. It seems like I can tell why people wanted me to do this for a track walk, and to be honest, I think that is because there's so many big jumps to do, nice big whips on. That seems to be the reason why 70%, I'll just throw a rough number out there, 70% of you guys play this game is because the whips and scrubs and stuff like that are probably the most realistic in this game of any motocross game. Reflex does come pretty close to mimicking that, but there are still some things in Reflex that you can do in Sim that you can't do in Reflex, so I think that the whipping technique is the best in this game, and I think that a track like this definitely shows that off, because you can get pretty gnarly on a lot of these big jumps, and there's certainly a lot of room to do it. Now, that's the second time I've done this. My suspension setup is still pretty stiff, but as you notice there, I landed 2 wheels to the ground flat. That actually hurts you in this game, unfortunately. Real life, if you land, you know, with 2 wheels pretty flat on the ground, that's probably about the most suspension you're going to get out of the bike. In this game, it's very, very rewarding to land really nose heavy and most of the time off the gas. If you land back heavy off the gas, you'll crash more often than on nose heavy off the gas. If you land on the gas at all, your chances of crashing seem to raise. So definitely when you feel like you're going to come up short on something or hit hard on something, land off the gas. Big saving technique of the day. My tip of the day, if you will. The one and only Kellen Brower dropping knowledge. Land nose heavy if you feel like you're going to crash due to a heavy impact in this game. That will save you more than you believe, I promise. But I was just going to say that these knuckles on the tabletop landings are pretty brutal so far. Have not been too forgiving to me. Finally, I got that double downhill. I'm trying to determine like what's the best entry point to these ruts. They're pretty wide ruts, but some of the corners, they set up a little funky. And I'm trying to use alternate lines as well, though that was honestly a mistake. I did not mean to go to that rut. Oh, I'm going long. All right, nose heavy off the gas, we're good. And this is a nice turning jump. I like turning jumps like that. Those are really fun where they're like hip jumps and you can... So one thing that I really like about... that sounds like I'm totally jumping off topic, but believe me, this is going to come back around. One thing that I really like about James Stewart's style is he's always done this really cool thing, and most riders do it. It's not just James, but James does it probably the most I see of anybody, where if it is a left-handed... Yeah, sorry, I forgot which foot I was thinking about for a second. If it's a left-handed corner, meaning that he can land into the corner on the rear brake still, as he's floating like off of a jump into the corner, he likes to like stick his left leg out and never bring it back in. He'll land sitting down with his left leg out just so that it puts him in like a position where he's ready to turn immediately. And I feel like I've seen it bite people before where they get like a random kick that they weren't expecting and they're sitting down, so it doesn't really help them. But I've never seen it happen to James where that kicks him bad or anything like that. So the reason why I like turning jumps is because it reminds me of what James does there, is basically like land turning with his leg out like that. You can't really land with your leg out in this game. Like you do land and then your leg comes out, but you can't like in midair have your leg just sticking out and then land. I wish you could, but you can't. So that's probably the real reason why I like hip jumps in this game, other than the sheer fact that they're just like Steezball McGee when it comes to getting like your whip on and landing all soft and sexy in a corner. But I mean, is there anything wrong with that? I don't think so. I think that those jumps are freaking rad because they give you such an awesome feeling of actually flowing and connecting lines in this game, which is one of my favorite things of the game, honestly, is being able to like connect a bunch of lines and do some cool stuff. Pretty cool track though. I'm digging it. Thank you, Gabriel Pilegi, for another banger of a track, and thank you to those folks in the comment section below that recommended I do this track. It's so nice of you guys to give me hot and heavy recommendations, because most of the time I have ideas of what I want to do for track walk, but it doesn't always pan out that I do that exact track or do it that way. So whenever I am feeling like, nah, let's try to do something a little bit different, change it up, I'll jump into the comments section of our videos and see what people have said, what tracks they recommend. With that being said, I don't necessarily always like going to the comment section and just seeing like, play this track, play that track, because obviously I can't get to every track. Like if you guys leave a comment that says like, awesome video, great track, why don't you give this track a try or something, that makes me feel a little bit better than just like, play this track, do it now, like bend over. But yeah, it's still nice that you guys like to lend your helping hand and offer your opinions, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to produce content that is awesome for you guys, the viewers, to watch. You know, our audience is a killer group of fans and great people, so I like making them happy because they make me happy to do the content that we do. And I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your bench racing. It's all good fun, I'm telling you. And so far, I have laid down a 242 on this track. I think I did a 242 the first time around. I may have just done identical laps. Oh, that was a nice little save there. Almost high-sided. Kind of corrected it, and then it just popped up, and I was good to go. Now, like I said, I did do another Gabriel Pilegi track. I'm not too sure why he did not make a map for this one. Maybe he just forgot. Believe me, I've been there. Just rushing through finishing up a track and then forget to release a map. Or maybe he doesn't, but either way, still cool beans. The make a map default texture always loads up in the top right hand corner. Unless you remove it from the track folder, then it's just an empty map and there's nothing that goes on. So it is what it is. I don't know. What do you guys think of this track, though? One thing I'd like to do with these track walks, or like to see a little bit more of, is I've seen some people commenting on our channel before that say, like, I've never even played Sim before, but this looks cool, or I watch your videos even though I don't play Sim. But even of the group of audience members out there that do play Sim, what do you guys think of this track simply from watching a video on it? If you've never played it and you're just now watching this video on it, like, what are your opinions? Do you think it looks cool? Do you think you'd rather see something more entertaining than this? Or are these tracks what you'd like to see? Obviously, this is a national track, and as I've mentioned before in my track walk videos, I do like to switch it up when I can to go from nationals to like enduros to enduro cross to freestyle to supercross, just whatever different type of track I can do, I change it up. I don't like to do just the same thing back to back to back, which I kind of have the last few weeks. But I do like changing up the genre, and that's, I think, a key part to keeping videos entertaining is that you don't let them get dry and stale. You don't do the same thing over and over again. But I mean, what do you guys think? Do you want to see more tracks like this? Obviously, you already recommend tracks that you'd like to see, but do you like the nationals? Do you like this type of national? What does this track look like from an outsider's perspective? Because I'm playing it right now, so obviously I get to see firsthand what it looks like as I talk about it, as I play it. But for those of you that have never played it before, you're just watching a video and you don't get to feel what it's like. Like, I can tell you that this traction is kind of a sandy, it's got some good tacky grip to it, but it still holds you back for sure. But you can't really see that, especially because a lot of these corners I do get like kind of slipped and slided or out a little bit. So I'd just be really curious to know, like, thoughts and opinions on this track, just from a visual standpoint. Is it a visually appealing track? Maybe not so much. It doesn't have a whole lot. There's like 4 trees. It's kind of bland, and then obviously you didn't update the skybox, and other than that, it's pretty much just like some grass and some dirt. And but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It could still be a great track. It just has some boring visuals. And some great tracks do have boring visual, and some really bad tracks have fantastic visuals. I've definitely played tracks that are horrible in this game, like no fun to play whatsoever, but the guy that built it spent hundreds of hours, it would seem, to actually make the track look really beautiful, and that's nice. Like, it makes it so much better to like take screenshots on that track or do videos or something, but the playing aspect of the track is not as fun, and that's just what I'm trying to point out here, I guess, more than anything. Yeah, just let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Any questions, concerns, anything that you guys always love to talk about. Happy to hear it. I'm gonna wrap it up here in just a minute as I run down a 306. But if you guys like this video, please go ahead and bung it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Appreciate everybody that does subscribe and is already subscribed. You guys are the best people on YouTube. Love you so much. And then, yeah, hit up the comments section below. Any concerns, questions, whatever you want to bring up my way, I love answering. And hope to see you guys in our future videos on the channel. But for Kellen here on Start Your Systems, you just watched Track Walk episode 131 on the Dream Track by Gabriel Pilegi. And we'll see you guys on the next one.